All right, I'm here with Kokomo City director Dee Smith. How are you, Dee?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well today. Thank you so much for being here with us.
My pleasure.
We're going to be talking about your upcoming film, Kokomo City, which will be released soon by Magnolia Pictures. Dee, I'm so glad that you are here with us. I was really curious about if you could tell us a little bit about how you came around to becoming a filmmaker, and why was it this particular story of Black trans women and sex workers that was your first foray into documentary filmmaking?
Sure. Well, I've always been a creative person, like my whole life. Anything from, making clothes for dolls or action figures, or creating bouquets of flowers for my grandmother. Anything creative, I was naturally drawn to, and visual arts was one of them. And obviously, I do music, so a lot of people don't know that I've been a producer for about a little over 15 years in the industry. I've, had a pretty stable career as a producer, songwriter. I've written for everyone from Lil Wayne to Katy Perry to Carrie Hilson, Estelle, and when I started to transition in 2014, things just stopped for me. I think it was very difficult, and maybe I was delusioned to think that it was going to be a smooth transition for me, as a producer, but sadly that wasn't the case. It was very difficult. And after years, I just became homeless, and unfortunately I got into a really dark place, really depressed and feeling alone, and had no support really in the industry. I found myself on someone's floor in New York that I stayed with for a little bit, and came up with this idea to do Kokomo City. And I was always curious about making film or being involved in it some way. I've always had really good ideas, but I'd never thought to apply myself as a director. Never. I just always see the whole picture, but always thought I have to take that picture and explain it to someone else, which is nuts, right? So after asking 5 or 6 people to shoot this documentary, being told no, I was led to have no choice but to do it myself. And so the idea of me being the director of Kokomo City was my only choice, and it felt absolutely natural to do that. And yeah, I can't remember the second part of your question. I'm sorry.
No, that was so perfect. Thank you for that. I mean, we need to see more films about Black trans women, and the fact that you were the director, the producer, the editors, the cinematographer is truly amazing. And you answered my a little bit what my next question was going to be, which I was going to ask. What was your experience in trying to get this produced, given this context, given this story? What were some of the hurdles that you faced producing this film?
I honestly, I wouldn't say I had too many hurdles. I didn't have any hurdles, to be honest with you. I wish I had conflicting issues to tell people, but I was blessed enough to just be absolutely aligned with my purpose and what I was meant to do, and it came, it was physical work as a human, but it was what was expected. I didn't have a team. I had to carry my little bag, on the train, and go to Brooklyn, or go to Bronx, or go to Harlem, or whatever have you, so, but it was such an adventure. It was such a gratifying process for me. It was new, it was spontaneous, it was empowering, and I felt really intrepid, and I wanted more. It wasn't this insatiable feeling that I had. I wanted to create more, and bigger and bigger and bigger. So when I met the girls, it was very natural, but I also had to explain to them what my goals were in doing the film, and they were very intrigued by it, and I think it inspired them to really be a part of this.
Beautiful, thank you. Given the very real safety issues for these women, how are you able to make space for them to tell their story openly and safely?
Yeah, well, I came to them as humble as I could, and as genuine and respectful. There's a lot about sex work that I didn't know. And but I also didn't want to tiptoe around things. I just wanted to have normal conversations. And I think that normal conversation, none of the red carpet talk or the talking points that we're giving so often as trans women, I just wanted to talk to them as girls, like my bitches, like, let's talk, let's for real talk. And if you don't mind us talking, I may pull my camera out every now and then. And that was my approach. But, you know, there was a slight ego in me that thought maybe, you know, I was coming to save the day, you know, with my camera and telling their stories. And my ego was checked after meeting them, because a lot of respect I have for them and what they do. And a lot of my problems and my adversities seem quite small compared to what they have to go through as trans women. So I very quickly learned my place as a director and my place as a human to another human. And I think that process was therapeutic for me and healing for me. And hopefully, you know, it kind of helped balance some of the things that some of the girls were going through as well.
Beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I feel like the space that you were able to hold and create for those intimate conversations really comes through in the film. It's very, you know, it's so there's a lot of levity, but also obviously some really serious and deep discussions. So yeah, it really shines through.
But that's where we're comfortable. We're comfortable as humans talking as humans, right? We don't want to talk with political borders around us as we're having regular conversations with people. Like, that's ridiculous. It's kind of dehumanizing, actually. And I tore that wall down the moment I walked in their homes or the restaurants. I'm not doing that. We're not going to play that game. We're going to talk how we talk, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to cry or whatever we do, but it's going to be natural. And let's try to stick to that. And that was the go-to technique.
Yes, yes, and so evident, you know, some of the interviews were, you know, obviously in the bedroom, but like actually on the bed or in the car, by the pool, you know.
Yep,
So I really
yep.
love that aspect of it. Okay, my next question is, you know, what was the ultimate story that you aimed to tell about Black trans women that you felt was maybe missing from mainstream narratives, and you really had the intention of uplifting it in this particular project?
That it was very important for me to tell the story, their stories, their personal stories, but also the story that trans women have fun. We laugh, we make jokes, we really do. Like, I think seeing more of the natural essence of trans women is very, very important. And you know, a lot of times we're depicted as glamour queens, and sometimes we could be a bit, you know, heavy on the glam, you know, or the demand of glam, but I see the beauty in the most simple things, and I'm drawn to that, you know, the less pretentious, the less made up. I really like, but don't get me wrong, I like a cute ball gown, I like a cute red carpet moment too, you know, okay, you know, but those moments where you just seeing a trans girl glow without makeup and without the extra need for hair, and just them smiling, and just, God, it's so dope to me, you know. And Black trans women have such a beautiful power and presence, and I just wanted to just show that. I wanted to show that, and a lot of people have seen that, but most of the world have not, you know. So
Beautiful, thank you.
of course.
Okay, my next question. We know that a protagonist within the film, Coco the Doll, was murdered months after the film's Sundance debut. And in the film, Coco even talked about being thankful that she got to tell her story through, you know, this collaboration with you through your project. I'm wondering, how does her passing embolden the work that you can do around this film, specifically to further trans stories and further uplift trans lives?
Unfortunately, Coco's life was, I mean, I could say cut short, but at the same time, when things happen divinely, you can't say when something was due or how long someone was supposed to be here. I'm just very grateful that I was able to meet her and capture and create with her. And I've captured her energy and the proof. I have the proof of a beautiful person that was on this planet. I have the proof. I have the evidence. You have to watch the film. She existed, and she's transgender, and she's still with us. And there was a major purpose for her life to be taken at this point. And her life only, her life pushed the point of doing this film. I personally tried to avoid tragic in this film. I didn't necessarily want to censor what the girls said, but I did make a point that I want you to just be yourself. And let's talk about the other sides rather than the statistics and the deaths, which we hear all the time and we push all the time. Sometimes that's pushed before we're pushed, and it turns people off. And, everyone in the world have problems. People are dying for all causes, right? For all reasons. So I wanted to do something fresh, even for us trans women, to just remind us how beautiful we are. And circumstance happened where that story had to come. The truth had to be there, and I had no control over that. And it only inspires me more to avoid lives like Coco and our other girls, their lives to be in vain. And I want her life and other girls' lives to be inspirations, and Daniela's life to be an inspiration, Leah's life, Dominique's life, Lo's life. I want everyone in the film's life to be an inspiration, and also to connect to the culture and just to remind people that we are human. At the end of the day, there's nothing that could tear us apart from being human except ourselves. And Coco was a gift. She's a blessing, and I miss her. We love her, and I thank God that I was able to create with her.
Thank you so much, Dee. On your points about focusing on the levity and the joy and all that is like so beautifully coming through in your film, do you have like a short moment or story that really just, whenever you think about, makes you smile through the process of working on this project, something that you'll remember about either the behind the scenes or working on this film that really makes you smile?
Oh my gosh. There were so many. I mean, I will say this. I don't know, maybe I'll do a short edited a director's cut. I have to, because the most torturous part about this process was not using everything. And oh my God, just these girls are so funny. They are, I mean, Daniela is a genius, and Coco was so funny, even she wasn't trying. And if you look at the film, in screenings, people laugh at Coco the most in the film, which is so funny. And that's just who she was. She was just so, I think the way she worded things was just unfiltered and genuine. And I just sometimes, oh my God, Leah, I think that was it. When I was filming her, most of the shots, they were shaking like really harder, because she was making me laugh so much. But Leah was definitely by far the most entertaining to film. So funny. Oh my God. I love her. So funny.
Really making you work for that steady shot, huh?
Yeah, but I was like, screw it. Whatever I could use, I could use. But there's always audio. I got the audio, but she's so funny. So funny.
Yes, no, thank you so much for sharing these beautiful stories and these intimate conversations with these protagonists and your beautiful art. I know we're rounding out to a close now, but is there anything that we didn't get a chance to cover that you'd like to uplift before we close out?
Sure. Well, obviously, Magnolia picked the film up. It will be out in theaters on the 28th of July next month. The trailer's out. Look for that. And I just pray that this doesn't sound superficial, what I'm about to say, but I want so badly for groups of people to go to the theater together and watch this as friends and as families and lovers. And it is so fun to watch together with your friends. And just to have that movie moment, watching trans people and Black men celebrate each other. I mean, am excited for people that will do that. I'm excited for that. And yeah, and again, thank you so much for this moment. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation and for making such a beautiful and important film. And we're wishing you the best of luck with your premiere.
Thank you. Thanks for reaching out.